What's up, YouTube? So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about Jordan Love, quarterback at Utah State. This is another video talking about players to watch coming up in this uh, 2019 college football season. He might end up declaring for the draft as well. We'll just have to see. Um, I am a, I'm definitely a fan of him. I definitely can't wait to see how things unfold for him because he he's had a pretty interesting backstory, and I definitely want to root for the kid. Um, so just a little bit about his background. His uh, his father took his own life when Jordan was only 15, 14 rather. And I guess it was his father that convinced Jordan to play quarterback in the first place, because at first Jordan wanted to play receiver or play on defense. But his father told him that he wanted Jordan to be an initiator, so he told him to try playing quarterback, and I guess I guess it worked out because Jordan is looking pretty solid. I mean, he definitely has some room to improve, but so far I'm liking him. Um, Also, I thought it was interesting to point out that Utah State was actually the only Division I college to make him an offer, but whatever. Uh, just a few of his 2018 stats before I get into some of what I've seen on film. He had a 64% completion percentage over 417 attempts, so that's pretty solid. Um, yeah, 64% isn't bad by any means. He uh he had 3,567 yards passing, 164 yards rushing. Then he had 32 passing touchdowns to 6 interceptions, and then he also had 2 rushing touchdowns. So he actually is kind of mobile, actually. Um, so let's go ahead and get with all the stats and stuff out of the way. I'm gonna get into what I've seen on film now. His arm strength is actually pretty impressive. The first couple games I watched with him, I watched Michigan State. I seen him play against Michigan State and some other. I watched quite a few games on him, but the first one, Michigan State, I wasn't really liking him in that game. Unfortunately, he made a lot of questionable decisions, and he wasn't really throwing the ball with any major velocity. If he was hurt during that game, if any of you guys know that, please let me know. And that was when he played them in 2018, just to clarify. Um, but after that, I mean, his in the other games that I watched him in, he uh, he threw with a lot of power. I mean, that ball just fired out of his arm like a cannon. But I don't know what was up with the game against Michigan State, but whatever. Um, One thing I did notice that is also really good. He has a pretty consistent, good base and decent mechanics throwing the ball. So long as he has time to set his feet, he actually does have pretty consistent throwing mechanics, which is really good to see, especially out of a young player. Um, let's see. Like I mentioned before, he is fairly athletic. I wouldn't say he's super fast or super agile, but he can definitely make some defenders miss occasionally, and he can make some stuff happen with his legs. Utah State likes to get him on some bootlegs, get him outside the pocket, and they also do some read option stuff with him as well. Um, he has shown some evidence of being able to throw a touch, but I want to see a little bit more out of him. And unfortunately, he does lose accuracy when he's throwing with touch instead of just throwing a bullet. So that's something I'd like to see him work on, because sometimes a bullet isn't what you want. Throwing with some touch is something he's gonna really need in the NFL. Um, He can throw on the run, but he loses a lot of accuracy there, which is to be expected. But there's a lot of mobile quarterbacks that throw a little bit more accurately on the run. I don't necessarily think that that's his thing. If he needs to, I mean, go ahead. But one thing I definitely did notice, actually, a couple things here. It didn't look like Utah State is letting Jordan read the entire field. It looks like he's only reading a half of the field, which I'm never a fan of. It's gonna hurt him when he gets to the NFL level. But and I think it's kind of hurting his decision making. He's kind of a gunslinger. I've seen him throw it into double, sometimes even triple coverage, and you can't do that in the NFL. And like I've seen him do this thing where he'll like scramble back and then try to like underarm throw it, and you can't do stuff like that. It's gonna get picked off. It's just no. Yes, he only had 6 interceptions, but in the NFL, people will pick that off more often than not. Um, and he also, I mean, his accuracy isn't terrible. Like I said, he has a 64% completion percentage, but he throws a lot of screens, and he is accurate throwing up the middle. But when he throws outside the numbers with any kind of depth, he really starts to lose accuracy. Um, But I do like him. I think he definitely has potential. I think he still needs some coaching and a little bit more development. I'll probably end up making another video on him after the 2019 season is over. But the main thing I want to see him work on is if he can somehow improve his accuracy throwing outside, start throwing with a little bit more touch, and definitely improve the decision making. I mean, he makes some really questionable decisions at times, and it works at the college level, but he will get picked off a lot in the NFL. But anyway, those are my thoughts on Jordan Love. I'm not gonna make this too much longer. So if you like this video, I would appreciate you hitting that like button. If you have any questions or comments, leave in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.